Hey guys, welcome back to the Crochet with Kelsey channel. Today we're in the Bishop Arts District for a market because it is market day. Today I have my lovely fiance Nick here with me. He helped me set up all of my display and he thinks we're gonna make a lot of money today.
Like $1,000.
$1,000, let's hope. At least, let's hope. So this might actually be my favorite display of all time. It looks very cohesive. I have all of my Pokemon snugglers over here. I got my Carmere charms hanging. And then I have some other snugglers over here. And it is a windy day today and I'm worried about my pegboard falling down, so we attached it with a little rope up there. Over here we have all of the keychains, and I didn't make as many as I wanted to, but I think it still looks full enough. We got the mystery box items over here, and then our little $10 basket. This is probably my favorite part. I think it looks really great, and I had just enough stuff to fill it up. And then over here we have our little $12 basket, which I showed y'all in the last video. And then we have our lovely little display of Pokemon, and they fell over already. But we got all the Pokemon together. And last but not least, we have our little claw machine. So it's now 10:45. The market starts in 15 minutes, and as you can tell, we're right in the sun. Luckily, I put on some sunscreen today, so hopefully I don't get too sunburnt. And
I didn't.
He didn't, but he has Italian in his blood, so he'll probably be just fine and get a nice tan out of it. So I did bring a project to work on today. I'm working on the Feathertail Dragon Mount from Hege's pattern, Crafted for Comfort. And so far I just have the little head, but I still gotta make the tail and all the little frills that go on it. So it's actually due on Tuesday, which is in 2 days, so I really need to get a lot of it done today. So we'll see. So I went to go get lunch. They had mostly Mexican food here, so I decided on a Trompo quesadilla. So far the market's been going pretty well. I'd say we've definitely made back our booth fee, and I got this much of my little dragon mount done, so it's been a productive day. Nick's almost halfway through his book. Is it good? What are you reading?
I'm reading Sunrise on the Reaping.
Cool. When I saw this, there was literally no way that I could resist. My sister Kinsey came today and I'm gonna let her play the claw machine. So I'm finally done with all of the crocheting. I got the whole head done like I showed y'all earlier. I got the tail done. I just have to add the wire whenever I get home. And I finished all the little frills. It's now 4:21. I am definitely very sunburnt and the traffic is starting to slow down a little bit. As expected, I've sold mostly my smaller items and I've sold a couple of big items, but nothing crazy. I've also finished as much as I can of my crochet project. So here is the body with the frills attached. And here's the tail. So now I just have to put that on the mount and hopefully it's not too difficult. Although the Pokemon have been getting a lot of attention today, I've only sold 2 of them. So I sold my little Eevee and my Mew Snuggler. So that was a surprise to me. But we still have about an hour and a half left, so we'll just see what happens. I also got a big old loaf of sourdough bread. It's rosemary garlic flavor, and I'm gonna make some sandwiches with it this week. So the market ends in about 10 minutes, and here's a little recap. We sold a whole lot of claw machine items, only the Eevee from over here. Almost nothing from this display. We sold one little Party Pal plushie. A lot of the $12 stuff sold. Not a lot, a few of the $12 items sold. A bunch of the $10 items sold. And we sold a lot of mystery boxes as well. And we also sold a good bit of keychains. And unfortunately, I only sold one Snuggler, which is a little disappointing, and those are really messed up. But I did sell 4 of my 7 car mirror charms that I brought. So we're about to pack up and head home, and I will update you tomorrow with everything I sold and how much money I made. Hi! Can you say hi to the people? It's now the next day. I just got home from work, and now it's time for the part that you've all been waiting for, the recap. So I'll say that overall I had a pretty good experience yesterday. Besides it being super hot, I did get a little sunburn on my neck, if y'all can see that, and kind of on my legs too, but it's really not that bad. At least I wore sunscreen. And the only other negative experience that I had yesterday was there was a little kid and he came to my booth and, you know, he's like, "Mommy, will you buy me this?" And she's like, "No." He puts his hand inside the claw machine and like gets something out and he's like, "Look, Mommy, I stole it." And she's like, "How much is that?" to me. And I was like, "Oh, it's $7. And she said, "Put that back." So I was just like, okay. And then that same little kid came back and was shaking the claw machine. He was just totally out of control and he was kind of like throwing stuff everywhere, but at least it was just a couple of instances. It wasn't like consistently all day. I think he came back to my booth a total of 3 times, so could have been worse, could have been better. Something that happened that made up for all of that is a guy came to play the claw machine. He was like a young adult, maybe like early 20s, and he handed me $10 cash. And as I'm trying to give him back his change, he said, "No, keep the change. I know these take a long time to make and I know that you put a lot of effort into them, so I just want you to keep the extra $3. So I was like, you know, it's moments like these where I feel seen, and I'm just like really happy that I get to interact with those customers who actually appreciate my work. I did feel really guilty though because he did overpay me. The only other notable thing that almost was really bad was that this lady paid with 100 and she asked me, "Do you have change for 100? And she wanted like an $8 keychain and a little like $10 plushie for her kids. And I knew I did, but I'm just not very good at quickly getting the change, and my cash box was just a mess, so I'm definitely gonna try to keep it by My cash box was a mess, so I'm definitely gonna keep note to make it more organized next time. But I finally am finished, finding all the cash for this lady, digging through my box to find my 20s, some 1s, some 10s, etc. All of her cash, I think it was like $83. She's about to walk away and she turns around and she said, "Did I ever pay you?" And I was like, I don't know, did you? So I'm looking through my cash box. There's not a $100 bill in there. So I'm just glad that I didn't give her $83 for nothing. It could have been bad. We could have been down bad. But besides that, the market went super smoothly. I feel like this one is super organized. One thing I will say that I didn't like is that they had people from organizations there talking to every single person that walked in or out of the bazaar. And I just know that a lot of people are introverted and they don't really want to have to deal with that. I didn't really like that they were there trying to collect money for their organizations and they were also asking the vendors to donate, and it's like, I'm here to make money. Anyway, I know everyone probably has their own thoughts on that, but I was just thinking that that's something that might push people away from attending the bazaar in the future, because every single time you walk by, somebody from the organization tries to talk to you. They also had some drop shippers, as you saw in the video. That one girl that has all the flowers, like thousands of flowers, is usually always at that one, so it's a little disappointing. And then there was another booth, and I'm not sure if I took a video of it or not, but I don't know, the items were questionable. I think it was probably drop shipped. But there were a lot of good vendors there, some new vendors that I haven't seen before, like the sourdough guy and the August Frescas people and the guy that I bought the Rice Krispie treat from. Overall, I like the event, but I'm gonna tell you how much it costs and you can tell me if you think it's worth it. I paid $186 to attend this market. It is one of the most expensive markets that I've ever done, and I realized that last year when I did this market, I paid like $50 less. So they definitely jacked up the price, but let's go ahead and get into everything that I sold. For me, the smaller items always sell the best no matter what. People are drawn to them because they're cute and little and they're cheap. So I ended up selling a total of 6 keychains and 8 claw machine items. Now that might not seem like a lot, but whenever you add it up, it actually is. And that is a majority of what I sold. I sell my keychains for $8 each and I sell my claw machine for $7 each. So just right there, I made $104. I also sold 4 car mirror charms and I sell those for $15 each. With the keychains and the claw machine items, there wasn't one item that was selling more than other. It was kind of a random variety. So I don't really have a bestseller. And as for the card mirror charms, it was kind of the same. Both of my chickens that I had made sold out, as well as one of my Frank the Frogs and one of my little chicks. So kind of across the board, not one of them really stuck out more than the other. And even though both of the chickens sold, the same lady bought both of them. So I don't know if I can count that as the top seller for the car mirror charms. The mystery boxes always do good. I love them because they're super quick to work up if you're willing to get the materials for them. And I sell my mystery boxes for $10, as you probably saw on my little sign, but I sold 5 of those. So I feel like if people come to your booth and they're kind of overwhelmed and they see the mystery box, it's an easy go-to for them. So I brought 10 and I sold 5, so at least I sold about half of them. I sold about 7 $10 items. All of my little turtles that I had sold out, which is surprising because they've never really been popular and I've brought them to like 2 or 3 different markets at this point, but they all sold out, so I guess that is a good sign. And I also sold one of my little Benny the Bears. Crochet by Shannon actually stopped by. I met her at one of my other markets in the winter and she came by this one as well, and she's super sweet and you should go check out her page. I'll put her username up there. But she bought a little Benny the Bear and a little strawberry keychain for me. So thank you, Shannon, for coming by. It was good to see you. I also sold a little polar bear, and that was actually my first sale of the day. One of my little $10 guys. I don't know if I just didn't write it down or not, but I think I only sold one $12 item. I'll have to go look at my inventory to double check, but I have on here the only $12 item was a yellow cat. I don't know what that's all about. I feel like there was less stuff in the $12 basket than just one item missing, but let's just say that the one $12 item sold. And that was another surprise because the little mini loaf cats I sell for $12 and they usually sell out pretty much. And I only sold one of them at this market. It might also be the way that they were displayed. I just put them in the basket this time, and the times that they've sold out, they have been on their own little display shelf. So that's something I might want to keep in mind for next time. I also sold my very last Pop-Tart. I made like 5 Pop-Tarts a little over a year and a half ago when I first started doing markets, and I carried the Pop-Tarts with me to every market. I'd sell one occasionally, but they were never very popular, and I finally sold the last one yesterday. So that felt really nice. Whenever you have inventory for a really long time, I feel like you just get sick of looking at it at a certain point. Like, why haven't you sold? That was definitely a high point for me. That's pretty much all of the smaller items that I sold. And I know it doesn't really seem like a lot, but it really was because I only sold like 4 larger items. The same girl who bought my Mew Snuggler also bought my Party Pal. It was a gift for one of her friends for their birthday, and then she got the Mew for herself, and then she also bought a little keychain. So she's like the dream customer, but she paid $50 for the Snuggler, $20 for the Party Pal. So she was responsible for 2 out of my 4 larger item purchases. So thank you. I also sold my Eevee. I really made a lot of Pokemon for this one, and I didn't really sell a lot at all. The only 2 Pokemon I sold the entire day were the Mew Snuggler and the Eevee, but I sold my Eevee for $30, so at least I made a little bit of money off of it. And then at the very end of the market, seriously, after I took the last video saying we're gonna wrap up, I sold a $35 cow from Crochet by Jenna's pattern. So that was kind of a little pick-me-up. So that's basically the wrap up. Keep in mind, I spent $186 on the booth for this market. I sold a total of $455 worth of inventory. So whenever you subtract the 186, you get $269. So whenever I look at those numbers, it makes me really upset because I could have made a lot more if the booth fee wasn't as expensive. Whenever I look at the numbers, I'm thinking, okay, I made over $450 at this market, and a little under half of it is getting taken away. So I just don't know if it's worth it or not to spend this much, because even though this market has a lot of foot traffic, I feel like not everyone is there for a specific thing. I feel like they just kind of go to browse around, and you know, there's a lot of food and stuff, there's a lot of snacks, so I feel like people just kind of go mostly to hang out. So I'm just not sure if it's a great fit for me, and I'm really sad because I've been looking for that one market that I can just consistently do, and I'm hoping that I can find that at some point. I also do the Deep Ellum Outdoor Market. I've done it the past 2 years. They have it every single weekend, and that one's only $85. So I think that maybe instead of paying $100 more for this event, to just do that event, because whenever I look at what $100 worth of plushies is, it's like 2 big snugglers or 10 little $10 items, or like 10 mystery boxes, and for me that's a lot of work. So I just don't know if it's worth it to pay that much extra to be at this market. So those are my thoughts. There's this one event I've really been wanting to try. It's a 3-day event in downtown Grapevine called Main Street Fest, and I submitted my vendor application, and we're supposed to find out this week if we are accepted or not. So crossing all my fingers and my toes that I get accepted, but if I don't, that's okay. And I have my eye on a few more events that might be better that have a lower price point than the Bishop Bazaar. But let me know in the comments if you think that paying this much versus profiting what I did is worth it. I'd love to hear your opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed this market vlog and recap video, and I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. Bye!